Imagine a mirror that traps more than just your reflection. Whatever you do, he whispered, don't move the mirror. But I couldn't resist. As I turned it, I saw her, trapped inside the glass, mouth frozen in a silent scream. Her whispers haunted my dreams, growing louder each night. She's been waiting for someone to set her free, Arthur warned. Everywhere I looked, in every reflective surface, I caught glimpses of her hollow eyes. The line between reality and nightmare blurred as I realized, sometimes, the past doesn't let go. And in that moment, touching the ice-cold glass, I felt the mirror trying to suck me in, pulling me into a world where time has no meaning and souls linger in limbo. So, picture this. I'm sitting at my desk, drowning in paperwork, when I realize I can't take it anymore. You know that feeling when your job's sucking the life out of you? Yeah, that was me. Corporate lawyer in the big city, fancy title, zero time to breathe. I needed out, even if just for a week. That's when I found this sweet Airbnb deal. A cabin on a mountaintop, middle of nowhere. Sounded perfect, right? Man, if I only knew. I get there, and at first, it's like something out of a travel magazine. All pine trees and fresh air. The cabin's got these huge windows, views for days. But something felt off. Can't put my finger on it, but it's like when you feel someone watching you. The owner, this tall, skinny guy named Arthur, he gives me the tour. Polite enough, but kinda twitchy, you know? He's going on about amenities and stuff, but then he gets real serious. Whatever you do, he says, looking me dead in the eye, don't move the mirror in the bedroom. It's old. Valuable. I'm thinking, weird rule, but okay. It's just a mirror, right? First night, I sleep like a baby. All that mountain air, I guess. But the second night? That's when things get freaky. I'm dreaming, but it feels so real. There's this woman standing in front of the mirror, back turned to me. She's whispering something, and I'm straining to hear, but it's like trying to catch smoke with your hands. I wake up in a cold sweat, heart pounding like I've run a marathon. The room's freezing, even though there's a fire going. And that mirror? I swear it's gotten bigger, like it's taking up the whole wall. All day, I can't shake this feeling. You ever been somewhere that just feels wrong? Like the air's too thick to breathe? That's what it was like. As it gets dark, I'm sitting there, staring at that damn mirror, and I'm thinking, what's the deal with this thing? I can't shake the feeling that something's seriously messed up. I try to distract myself, watch some TV, read a book, but my eyes keep drifting back to it. Night rolls around, and I'm dreading going to sleep. Crazy, right? But that dream felt so real, I'm half convinced I'll see that woman again. Sure enough, I close my eyes and boom, there she is. This time, she's closer to the mirror, and her whispers are louder. I still can't make out the words, but man, the desperation in her voice, it gives me chills. I wake up gasping, feeling like I've been underwater. The room's so cold I can see my breath. And the mirror? It's like it's alive, pulsing almost. I know it sounds nuts, but I swear it was. I spend the whole next day on edge. Can't enjoy the view, can't relax. It's like the whole cabin's holding its breath, waiting for something to happen. That night, I can't take it anymore. I know Arthur said not to, but I've got to move that mirror. My hands are shaking as I reach for it. The second I touch it, it's like all the warmth gets sucked out of the room. I turn it to face the bed and, Jesus, I nearly piss myself. The woman from my dreams is there, inside the glass. Not like a reflection, but like she's trapped in there. Her eyes are empty, mouth open in this silent scream. I try to look away, but I can't. It's like the mirror's got me in a trance. I don't know how long I stood there, but finally, I managed to wrench myself away and turn the mirror back. The woman vanishes, but I can still feel her presence, you know? Like she's watching me. I don't sleep a wink that night. Just sit there, back against the wall, staring at the mirror until sunrise. As soon as it's light out, I'm packing my bags. I've had enough of this horror show. But when I get to the front door, there's Arthur, looking like he hasn't slept either. He takes one look at me and says, "You moved it, didn't you?" I'm standing there, face to face with Arthur, and I can't even speak. Just nod. He lets out this long sigh, like he's been holding his breath for years. "She's been waiting," he says, his voice barely above a whisper. "Waiting for someone to set her free. Be careful. Sometimes the past doesn't let go." I want to ask him what the hell he's talking about, but my throat's so dry I can barely swallow. I just grab my bags and bolt. As I'm throwing my stuff in the car, I swear I can hear whispers on the wind. The drive down the mountain is a blur. I'm constantly checking the rearview mirror, half expecting to see that woman's face staring back at me. When I finally hit the highway, I feel like I can breathe again. But here's the thing, it's not over. Not by a long shot. I get home, try to shake it off. Tell myself it was just stress, maybe some kind of mountain fever. But every time I pass a mirror, my heart starts racing. I catch myself avoiding them, taking down the ones in my apartment. A week goes by, and I'm starting to think maybe I imagined the whole thing. Then, one night, I'm brushing my teeth, and I see her. Just for a second, in the corner of the bathroom mirror. That same hollow-eyed woman, mouth open in a silent scream. I scramble out of the bathroom so fast I nearly crack my head on the doorframe. Spend the rest of the night huddled on the couch, lights blazing. From then on, it's like she's everywhere. I see her in store windows, car mirrors, even my phone screen when it goes dark. Always just for a moment, always gone when I look again. I can't sleep, can't focus at work. My colleagues are starting to notice, asking if I'm okay. How do I tell them that I'm being haunted by a woman in a mirror? I think about going back to the cabin, demanding answers from Arthur. But the thought of seeing that mirror again, I just can't. So here I am, a successful lawyer reduced to a paranoid wreck. I've started researching mirror lore, trying to find some way to end this. But every story I read just makes it worse. Tales of trapped souls, cursed mirrors, portals to other worlds. I'm at my wit's end, and I don't know how much longer I can go on like this. Every reflective surface is a potential threat. I'm jumping at shadows, flinching at whispers. And the worst part? I'm starting to think that maybe, just maybe, she's not trying to scare me. Maybe she's trying to tell me something. But do I dare listen? So, I'm living in this constant state of fear, right? Can't look at mirrors, can't sleep, can't think straight. But then I realize something. I can't keep running. I've got to face this head on. I start digging deeper into the cabin's history. Turns out, it's got a pretty dark past. Built in the 1920s by some rich guy for his wife. Story goes, she disappeared one day without a trace. The husband claimed she ran off with another man, but the locals had other ideas. I managed to track down some old newspaper clippings. There's a picture of the wife, and my blood runs cold. It's her, the woman from the mirror. Same hollow eyes, same look of desperation. Now I'm thinking, maybe this isn't about haunting me. Maybe she needs help. Crazy, right? But at this point, I'm way past normal. I decide to go back to the cabin. Yeah, I know, stupid move. But I've got to know the truth. The drive up is even creepier than I remember. The trees seem to bend towards the road, like they're trying to stop me. But I press on. Arthur's waiting for me when I pull up. He doesn't look surprised to see me. I knew you'd be back, he says, looking older and more tired than ever. We sit on the porch, and he spills the whole story. Turns out, he's the grandson of the original owner. His grandfather was a real piece of work, abusive, controlling. One day, his wife tried to leave. In a rage, he pushed her, and she fell, hitting her head on that damned mirror. Instead of calling for help, he panicked. Somehow, her soul got trapped in the mirror. And his grandfather, the bastard, just left her there. Told everyone she'd run off. It's been our family's curse ever since, Arthur says, his voice breaking. We've tried everything to free her, but nothing works. She's stuck, reliving that moment over and over. I ask him why he rents the place out if he knows it's haunted. He looks at me, eyes full of guilt. We thought maybe someone else could set her free. Where we failed, a stranger might succeed. I'm angry, scared, but also, I don't know, determined? I mean, this poor woman's been trapped for almost a century. If there's a chance I can help, don't I have to try? So, I go back into the cabin. The mirror's there, waiting. I take a deep breath and step in front of it. At first, nothing happens. Then, slowly, I see her. She's clearer now, more real. Her lips are moving, and this time, I can hear her. Help me, she whispers. Please help me. I reach out, my hand shaking, and touch the glass. It's ice cold under my fingers. For a second, nothing happens. Then, I feel this pull, like the mirror's trying to suck me in. I want to pull away, but something tells me this is it. This is the moment. I press my hand harder against the glass, and suddenly, it gives way like water. The world tilts, spins, goes dark. I feel like I'm falling, drowning, flying all at once. So there I am, feeling like I'm caught in some kind of whirlpool. Everything's spinning, and I can't tell up from down. Then, all of a sudden, it stops. I open my eyes, and I'm not sure where I am. It's like I'm in a fog, but it's not quite fog. More like being surrounded by smoke made of memories. I can see flashes of the past, the cabin being built, a woman's laughter, arguments, fear. And there she is, the woman from the mirror. She's clearer now, more solid. She looks at me, and for the first time, I see hope in her eyes. You came, she says, her voice echoing strangely. I've waited so long. I try to speak, but no sound comes out. She seems to understand, though. I'm trapped, she continues, caught between moments, between life and death. I need to move on, but I can't. Not alone. I nod, trying to show I understand. I want to help, but how? I'm just a lawyer from the city. What do I know about freeing trapped souls? She must sense my uncertainty because she smiles sadly. It's not about knowing, she says. It's about willing. About choosing to help, even when you're scared. And man, am I scared. But I'm also determined, I guess. I mean, I've come this far. Can't back out now. She holds out her hand, and I reach for it. The moment our fingers touch, it's like a jolt of electricity. Suddenly, I'm seeing her life flash before my eyes. Her hopes, her fears, the moment of her death. It's overwhelming, and I feel like I'm drowning in her memories. But then I realize, I'm not just seeing her past. I'm changing it. Every kind gesture, every moment of compassion I've ever had, it's like they're flowing into her story, healing the wounds of her past. I don't know how long we stand there, connected. Could be seconds, could be years. Time doesn't seem to mean much in this place. Slowly, the flow of memory starts to slow. The woman, I know her name now, it's Eleanor, looks at me with tears in her eyes. Thank you, she whispers. I think I can rest now. She starts to fade, becoming transparent. But she's smiling, really smiling, for the first time. As she disappears, I feel another pull. The world starts spinning again, and I'm falling. I jolt awake, gasping for air. I'm back in the cabin, lying on the floor in front of the mirror. Arthur's kneeling next to me, looking worried. Are you okay? He asks. You've been out for hours. I look at the mirror, and for a second, I see Eleanor's face. She smiles, nods, and then she's gone. The mirror's just a mirror now. Arthur sees it too. He starts crying, a mix of relief and grief. "She's free," he whispers. "After all these years, she's finally free." I should feel relieved, triumphant even. But mostly, I just feel changed. Like I've seen behind the curtain of reality and can't quite go back to how things were before. As I drive back down the mountain, I can't stop thinking about Eleanor, about choices, about the power of compassion. I realize as I drive down the mountain, my mind's racing. I can't stop thinking about Eleanor, about the power of compassion, about how our choices can echo through time. I get back to my apartment, and for the first time in weeks, I don't flinch when I pass a mirror. Instead, I stop and really look at myself. I see someone different, someone who's been through something profound. The next few days are a blur. I go back to work, but everything feels off. Like I'm trying to fit into a life that doesn't quite fit anymore. My colleagues notice the change. They keep asking if I'm okay, if my vacation helped. How do I even begin to explain what happened? So I don't. I just smile and nod and throw myself back into work. But my heart's not in it anymore. A week goes by, then two. I'm going through the motions, but I can't shake the feeling that I'm supposed to be doing something more. Something meaningful. Then, one night, I have a dream. I see Eleanor again, but she's different now. Peaceful. She doesn't say anything, just smiles and points to a stack of papers on my desk. I wake up with a start, my heart pounding. And just like that, I know what I need to do. The next day, I march into my boss's office and quit. Just like that. 10 years of climbing the corporate ladder, and I walk away without a second thought. My colleagues think I've lost it. Maybe I have. But for the first time in years, I feel alive. I start volunteering at a local shelter. It's not glamorous work, but every time I help someone, I feel that same spark I felt with Eleanor. Like I'm not just helping them in the moment, but changing the course of their story. Months go by, and I barely recognize my life anymore. I'm not rich, not powerful, but I'm happy. Really, genuinely happy. And sometimes, when I catch my reflection in a window or a puddle, I swear I see Eleanor smiling back at me, reminding me that our choices matter, that compassion has power, and that it's never too late to change your story. I guess if there's a lesson in all of this, it's that life's not about the big gestures. It's about the small kindnesses, the moments of connection. It's about being willing to reach out, even when you're scared, even when you don't know what will happen. Because you never know. That small act of kindness, it might just set someone free. It might just set you free. As for me, I'm still figuring things out. But I know one thing for sure, I'll never look at a mirror the same way again. And maybe, just maybe, that's a good thing.